Welcome to English Lab. This presentation is about articles. Here are some basic rules for articles. There are 3 articles in English: a, an, and the. A and an are called indefinite articles. The is called the definite article. They are used before nouns. There are many rules for when we should and should not use articles, and also for which article should be used. We're going to talk about some of those rules today. When we mention a noun for the first time in our text, we use a or an, but the second time and the third and the fourth and so on, we can use the. For example, a study was conducted in an aged care facility. Residents at the facility were satisfied with their care. Okay, so here, the first time we mention the aged care facility, we use an. But the second time, we've mentioned it again in this second sentence, so this time we use the. This means we're referring back to the aged care facility we talked about before. There are also times when it is not correct to use an article. For example, plural nouns. Studies is a plural noun. I enjoy my studies. It's a plural noun, so I don't use an article. Here's an example of studies in a sentence. In recent years, studies have shown that students benefit from literacy support. I also don't want to use an article when I have an uncountable noun, for example, research. Here's a sentence. Research has demonstrated that attendance is very important. Research is an uncountable noun, so I don't want to put an article before it. However, if I am referring to something specific, I will need to use the. Let's compare. Research shows that attendance is crucial for student success. This is like our first example. Research has demonstrated that attendance is very important. Research shows that attendance is crucial for student success. In both of these cases, I am talking about research in general. However, consider this sentence. The research shows that attendance is crucial for student success. If I use the in front of research in this sentence, this means that I am referring to specific research that I have mentioned before. Like in our previous slide, we talked about using the for the second time I've mentioned something. So if this is the second time I'm mentioning this particular research, I will use the. When you mention a place without a name, for example, school, hospital, prison, the use of an article depends on your focus. Let me explain. Compare these two sentences. First sentence, he is studying at university. If I say that, it means it isn't important which university. The important thing is the fact that he is studying at university. Compare that to this sentence. He is studying at the university. If I use the in this sentence, it means he is studying at a particular university, and it is obvious which university I'm referring to because I've mentioned it before. So if I said to someone, he is studying at the university, they would know which university I meant, and I would know that they know. It is obvious because we have already talked about it. If we have not already talked about it, I must not use the article. On this slide, you will see a quick reference guide for some more rules. As I said before, there are many rules for articles. You probably won't remember all of them, which is perfectly fine because there's a lot. So on this slide and the next slide, I have a quick reference guide for you to refer to if you want to know when to use an article and when not to. This slide you will see some more examples of when to use an article. Some of these we have talked about before, but most of them we have not. On the left-hand column you can see when to use it, And on the right-hand column, you can see an example. You can come back to this slide later. The next slide, another quick reference table. In this case, the left-hand column shows us some examples of when not to use an article. And on the right-hand side, we have an example of what this would look like. You can come back to this slide later too, anytime you want. That's the end of our presentation about articles. Please return to English Lab for more presentations.